Alrighty, so we had a framing inspection today, and we actually failed. It's a temporary fail because right here, the plumbers knocked through one of the joists right here. So normally this would be a pretty easy fix. It would just be a head out situation, but if you look, there's massive stuff ran through here. So I can't just chop suey it and put a head out and do my thing, right? Which a head out looks like this over here, which I've showed you in different videos before. But those are head outs right there. See that where they're hanging? Same thing right here. This is a head out, right? So this can hang from here. So this joist can run through there. So this pipe doesn't hit it. So we can do that here. The problem is we got to get the other trades back in here. They're going to have to knock these pipes out and whatnot for a minute, and then we're going to have to do that. And then the other thing that we failed for, which I still believe we're in the right because of the plans, and these plans were approved. This is a shear wall. It's an interior shear wall, and what the inspector tried to say is that this has to be connected to the upper floor, which it doesn't call for any of that in the prints. That being said, there was a discrepancy in the prints. It showed me two different ways of building this, and I went with the second way. And in the second way, it didn't even call for any of this, and it didn't show the load points. And I talked to the project managers, and I thought he talked to the engineers and whatnot. It didn't include these load points for the trimmer pack for the upstairs door. So there's that 16-foot slider up here. And so I went ahead and added load points up there, and I added some ladder blocking going across, which that's what I would call it, because it's just every once in a while, right, to help hold the pressure of the floor. And the reason that is, I'll show you, is because the weight of this truss, gable end trusses are not free span. So the weight of this truss is spread out on this header right here, right? Which is spread out down through these trimmers. And in the prints of this building, it didn't show any load points down through the floor. So take a mental picture of that. I did carry that down. Right here. I carried that down with a 3-pack all the way through and even into the crawl space. All the way down. Same thing like these point loads would be. They're all the way down through the floor. Right? So I did do stuff there. It's just that I went with what my joist plan said. So now we have to wait and talk to the engineer and see if they're going to let this slide or not, because it's really up to the engineer. But the inspector was trying to say that there's nothing that ties the lower and the upper floor, which I would disagree, because out here, they're 2 sheets wide, and those sheet all the way up. And then there's actually a mechanical strap out there. Same thing with this side out this window. There's sheeting that goes all the way up and over, and then there's a mechanical strap up there. And also, this wall is sheeted, and it's sheeted all the way up through the rim. You can see it back behind this truss, right? So this is going to keep this from racking here. This is going to keep extra pressure and keep it from racking here. And I would understand if there needed to be uplift, but that, in my mind, might already be taken care of by those straps out there that the engineer called for originally. So we just have to wait and see about that. And then the only other thing that I missed is that when we came, because these pipes got added later, so we had to frame in just these little situations to make it our drywall skirt around these pipes. So that's what we did. And like up in here, they could get a little light or something that came down for an accident. And then we just made this side the same. But what we did was we actually added draft stop. If you see that sheeting back here, we added draft stop back there because I just missed it when we installed this fur out framing. So we did that immediately, showed the inspector what we were going to do with that, and then proceeded to go back to siding because there's nothing I can do to say what the engineer wants to do on the design of this house. Now, I did see the discrepancy immediately when we were framing the house, because again, there was a difference between what the print said and what the engineering packet said for the floor trusses and the joist layout. And I was told that the joist layout and everything from the supply company supersedes what your prints say, because they have to engineer their floor systems off of their engineering, right? Regardless of who designed what. So we are waiting to hear back from that. And then if it needs to be adjusted, if something needs to be done up there, then we'll do it. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe it'll be like some hold downs or something, and we just got to drill down. And I don't know. I can't even speculate, right? So we'll just have to wait and see what the engineer says. But that's where we're at here, and we're messing with the last of the siding and whatnot upstairs. I guess I could give you a peek of that real quick. I was just picking up the final tool pickup for the day. This is what we were working on up here, getting this stuff all situated, but we got super gnarly hardware right here, so we have to notch around all that stuff. So it takes a minute. It's very tedious, but we're just doing a little flush wrap, right? That's where we're at. And then I'm leaving gaps on these miters on purpose because I want to shove a good amount of caulking in there. And again, we super duper taped the heck out of everything. So it's double wrapped and it's taped. You can see the tape down here, and that should help seal up some of the nail holes. And then this is all going to get hardy lap going around. So that's where we're at. I just wanted to show you guys what was going on. Show you why we failed our inspection. You know, once you're experienced enough, you just realize that you do fail inspections sometimes. It's not a big deal. I try to make sure that whatever inspections are happening for the portion of the build that I'm responsible for, I try to make sure that I'm there on inspection day. Because a lot of times, the inspector will pick your brain. If you're missing a little something here or there, he'll kind of pick your brain. What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? And a lot of times you get to know the inspectors, you know, over time, because they inspect multiple of your houses over and over and over, right? And they see and they know and they trust what you're doing in your building. And then they usually will just pass you anyways. You know, same thing on shear inspections. You know, if I could still be nailing a couple walls off and pass shear inspection all day. You know, as long as he sees, like, on the complete walls, like how many nails, and we always put massive extra nails in the house. So but that's where we're at. It's that section up there. We got like 3 boards left on the back, and then we have this beam wrap right here, and then we're done. So little finish that cap off, wrap all the post beams, finish that wall out, finish the parapet wall, which is easy, and then this other tedious zone down here. So that's where we're at left on this house.